Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Jernigan,
Hey.
and this is the weekly meeting of the Phrancko Sweater Knitters. You're welcome to come join us if you're a knitter, whether you've knitted a Phrancko sweater or not. And we love to have guests. We love to have people come and join the group. And it's an open group, even though you see some of the same familiar faces every week. So come join us when you can. It meets every week at 2:30 Pacific time. Um, I guess that's it. 2:30 Pacific time. Oh, the link is on the website phrancko.com. After you join the website and log in, then you'll see it on almost every page. It's also on the Ravelry page for the Phrancko Sweater Knitters Forum. So with that said, hello, Mary.
Hello.
They're doing.
Hi, Joellen.
Hey.
Hi, Wally.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Frank.
Hi.
Hi, Jenny.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Sumner. And hi, Arthur.
Hello. Thank
Hi,
you.
Will.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi.
Hi, Sidra.
Hello.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Serena.
Hello.
Well, as you can see, I'm not home this week. As I mentioned last week, I'm in Minneapolis at the TKGA Knitting Retreat. The Knitting Guild Association holds a retreat every year. And I just found out that it's going to be in San Francisco next year.
Oh,
I'm not going to have
wow.
to travel so far. Just drive down the street, apparently.
Make up the spare bed.
Yes. So you all come visit me out in San Francisco for the retreat next year.
Don't say that. You'll have a living room full of us.
Just carry us on your PC and set us down in the room.
So, Frank, did you get your costume finished for the retreat on Thursday,
Well, it
Friday
wasn't
night?
exactly a costume, it was a mask. And I happen to have it right here, I think. Here is that thing. Ah.
Yeah. Aren't these the cutest things?
Oh my goodness.
That's too cute.
Wait.
Oh.
There we go.
That's awesome. Phrancko, you've gone round the pipe. I love it.
Oh, that's
amazing.
wonderful. That is great.
That's
Very
fun.
good.
It's a Batman did it. Yeah,
It was fun. We
Yeah.
had a banquet on Halloween evening at the start of the conference, and we were all asked to knit some sort of costume or mask or something. And so this is what I wore. And there were some that were really creative and really nice. Some did simple things and some did elaborate things. A couple of people did a Viking helmet with horns
Oh, wow.
and
Oh my
pigtails
goodness.
hanging down on the sides.
Isn't that fun?
Wow.
Wow. Very creative.
I've been in class all day yesterday and this morning with Beth Brown-Reinsel.
Oh,
Those two different subjects, and I'll tell you about it in a little while, but it was a really wonderful experience. And I got introduced to some new techniques, and who knows, maybe some of them will be used in sweaters in the future. It's always so wonderful to get together with this group. Of course, any knitting group is going to be full of really wonderful people who are all just so pleasant and nice. And politics is off limits. Nobody can talk about politics.
Thank God.
So I've had to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Boy, it's really hard when it's this close to an election, the election, and you feel so strongly about it. So, anyway, it's really interesting. But there's just so many wonderful people here, and old friends that I've seen and learned that I've known through the Knitting Guild Association. And that's the organization that has the Master Hand Knitting Program, and that I received the master's certification from. And Cindy is working on it, and other people have done parts of the program. So I have been associated with this group since 2017, 2018, and we've gotten together at a number of different retreats and fiber fests and gatherings with them. And so they're just a whole group of old friends that I really enjoy seeing.
How many people are there?
I think there are about 50 or 60, best I could tell from the dinners.
Hi, Maggie. I missed
Hi,
you coming
how
in.
are
I was in the kitchen. How are you?
Good. I'm wearing my sweater.
Oh,
Yay.
yay.
Yes.
Yay.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Wow,
Nice.
Oh,
Very
lovely.
nice.
Oh, look at that.
So very
Look at how
perfect,
good it fits. It's
Beautiful.
great.
beautiful.
I'm happy. Thank you.
Oh, it is
Thank
so great.
I love those I love those colors with you too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, brown's good this year. Yeah,
It looks like it fits beautifully.
it does. You're great. You're
Did you do
great.
some body shaping? Did you add any body shaping? Because the body is just
No.
straight. You just did it
Yeah.
straight? Oh.
Right, but I put a little fake seam here. But I
Oh.
heard
Yeah,
Some-
Faux seam. Yeah.
I
yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sumner does that.
Yeah.
Well, it looks wonderful. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad you did that.
Thanks. Thank you.
The
Maggie,
first
do you
night at
remember?
dinner, I sat down, and the woman next to me is Susan, and she introduced herself, and she says, "You don't know me, but I know you, and I feel like you're a friend of mine." And I said, "Really? Why?" And I knew she'd seen me on YouTube or something. She said, "I watch a lot of your meetings online, and I've knitted a Phrancko sweater, and it's the best fitting sweater I've ever knitted."
Oh, isn't that a nice compliment?
Nice.
I invited her to come to the meeting, and maybe she'll drop in later. I hope she does. The reason I'm in my hotel room alone is because the group went off to visit a yarn store this afternoon. They got a bus to take all those people off to a yarn store.
Oh,
But I
wow.
Call them
stayed here
first.
so I could be with you all. And I think they're getting back real soon. And she said I invited her to come and sit with us and meet you all. And she said she might do that. But we'll see.
Does the yarn store know the bus is coming with all those people?
Yes, they do. I heard somebody ask, what yarn store can take this influx of about 60 people?
Yeah.
And they said, well, they have a big meeting room that they're going to devote to us. So I
Oh.
guess they're set up for classes and things. I don't know.
Party. Now it's a party.
Yes.
Is it cold there?
It's a little chilly, not too bad. Let's see. Today it's actually almost 60 today.
Yeah.
I haven't been outside. That's why I had to look at my watch to see what the temperature was. The first day it was raining, and it turned to snow for a little bit, but it didn't stick to the
Oh.
ground. And I went out the first day, and it was quite chilly, but just jacket weather, not really cold.
Oh, I wanted to show you something.
He whispers too loud.
Yeah. So I learned this trick in this group 3 years ago now, 4 years ago now, with the ortho elastics.
Yes.
And to measure your sleeves,
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
your decreases, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
So interesting enough, there's a bunch of people try to do it and they get it wrong, which I'm like, okay, it would help always if you see it, because if you try to think, how am I doing that? I think it's complicated. So you put the elastic on the needle first, and then you knit the next stitch. You take the elastic and you put it over the stitch you just knit, and now you have a stitch inside of an elastic.
Oh.
So now you just knit like normal, and that's a stay-in stitch marker that just marked a decrease or an increase or a row or whatever you're marking that you want to stay in, and then you continue to knit.
Mhm.
And it is life-changing.
Magical. Yes, because here's mine for counting all my rows to make sure that I think I had to do 33 rows.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I did that on both sides. And then this tells me this is my right shoulder. I had
Yep.
to make it
Hmm.
super obvious.
Now, is it?
Oh, with the squeaky toy, really?
The pattern tells you to put that in, and I added that after getting it wrong so many times. And when I first started doing my pattern, it's real hard to figure out which is the right side and which is the left side when you're first getting started,
Mhm.
Yes. Just
because
keeping it.
you're knitting in the round upside down. And then the instructions say do something on the right shoulder or the left shoulder, and you can't tell which one it is. It's so
Exactly.
confusing. So that marker really is important.
Yeah, mine's
Frank,
still in my sweater. So I don't take it out until like the very end, and I don't know why. I just leave it in. It doesn't matter. But it gets
Long
in my
after
sweater.
it's needed.
I'm sure it's
Long after it's
Yeah.
needed.
Frank, I remember when I test knit for you early on, and the way that you had it phrased then was, "It's a good idea to put a marker on the right shoulder." And I wrote back and said, "This is not a good idea. It's a must. They have
It's
to
a
do
must.
it. Don't say it's a good thing. Say do it,
Yeah,
because
just do
otherwise
it.
we're going to be lost."
Yeah.
You will wish you had.
It's just like, oh, you'll be lost because just got first those little weird triangles, and it's like, well, which one is which? I
Yep.
don't know, and I'm looking at it upside down and backwards, and if you put your little marker on it, you're fine.
The first Phrancko I knit, I had thought to myself many, many times, how the did he think of this? That is one smart human being. He has to be an engineer. Yeah.
Well, I can't take all the credit for it. I took a class from J.C. Bryan, and she taught a lot of that technique. Well, that's hard to explain. What now it's hard to remember what exactly she included. But she created a body with two holes on the sides, and then showed how to pick up stitches around the hole, and do the technique of doing short rows back and forth over the sleeve cap.
Mhm.
And so I went up to her afterwards and said, "Is there any reason you couldn't just go across and then pick up stitches and do increases down the side?" And she said, "Well, it might not be shaped right. It really needs to be bell shaped." And I said, "Yeah, I guess we need to figure out an algorithm to figure out how to make that bell shaped." And so that's what I went home and worked on.
Mm.
That's the origin of it. The actual construction of the sweater, I have to give her credit for. And then she helped me figure out what needed to be done. And then I completed the process with an algorithm to create the bell-shaped curve. So that's what it's
Amazing.
about.
Wow.
Is that the person that wrote that little book about charting?
Yes.
That little
Yes,
booklet about
yes,
charting?
Charts
Yeah,
Made
because I think
Simple
I've
is her
got that
book.
one. Yeah, I've got that book. But I didn't know that I didn't know she was the one behind doing your sweaters like that.
She also has a very interesting website called stitch-maps.com. And it's a charting website. It works really well with lace because the stitches are not arranged in a square. The stitches get shaped into the shape that the lace becomes as the stitches weave in and out and the shapes change. And so the chart ends up being wavy lines if your stitches create wavy lines.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Whoa. That's all. That just makes my head spin. Oh my goodness.
Yes. She
I-
obviously was a software engineer also. She did stuff that I wouldn't have a clue how to do. And so then I started noting in classes how many people in the classes I take have been either presently or previously have been software developers. And it's surprising how many people migrate from software development to knitting.
Mhm.
Is that right, Kathy?
Yes, or the other way around, right? For some of us.
Knitting is kind of like code,
It
as
is.
you're going
And
along.
writing programs is exactly like, I mean, writing patterns is exactly like writing programs.
Yeah.
It's just a shorthand language to say what you want to say.
Yeah.
And it's similar.
And make it
that
do
every
something.
detail has to be right.
Yes. Yeah, I think when I was in school in Boston, somebody said, I can't believe how well you're doing, being from Kansas. And so I said,
Wow. Excuse me?
yeah, well, this is Boston,
Yeah.
And, and so I said, well, I'm really good at sewing and knitting. I think I'm going to make a good engineer.
Oh yeah.
I think it goes together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's fun.
Even if you are from Kansas, right?
What's that?
Even if you are from Kansas,
Even if I am not anymore from Kansas, but I was. Yeah.
that's crazy. Well, I'll give you an update on my Phrancko because it won't take that long. Last week I talked about that I don't want to do any stress knitting on this because of the tight gauge on it. So I've gotten some, but not, I was hoping I would be splitting for sleeves, but I'm about 15. No, I'm about 20 rows away from splitting. So let's shoot for next week to split because it was another stressful week at work. So I spent time on my non-stress guy. I have a skirt now. I'm at skirt length.
Oh, how nice. Look at
That's
that.
pretty.
Oh, wow.
It's really cute. Really
Yes.
cute.
The colors are really nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
What are you doing for the waist part? Are you
No,
doing
this is-
waistband?
It won't be a skirt. In the end, it'll be a blanket.
Oh,
But
okay.
my husband, at first it
Right.
started skinny scarf, wider scarf, and now
Hmm.
skirts. If I
Just
stop,
kept growing. Pretty skirt.
I told you guys that, okay. So I told you guys that I don't have any in-person physical knitting friend, right?
Mhm.
You guys are my virtual friends. And so we went to vote early yesterday. And of course, we're standing outside in the line, etc. And so I brought my knitting because I thought I'm not going to stand an hour and a half and miss an hour and a half of knitting time.
I've done that. My COVID shots were knitting
Yeah.
time.
And I didn't have something like I didn't want to take this. So anyway, so I took that and it's kind of bulky, and I'm knitting and stuff like this. And I now have a knitting friend. Yes. She's standing 2 people ahead of me, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you knit!" I've been trying to learn. I mean, she knows how to knit, but she's getting confused or whatever. So we're going to meet. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have a knitting time, etc. And I'll tell her about this podcast. And at first, I thought, I don't know if if it's like just a curiosity knit
Yeah.
or a real knitting interested person. And then she told me she has baskets of yarn at home. And I'm like, you're going to work out.
That's fun.
Bug.
That's good.
Yay, good for you.
Talk 45 minutes on knitting, and other people coming up and they're like, you ought to teach a class.
Oh,
That's great.
Now I have one friend. I'm excited.
That's fun.
But we also spoke or discussed a little bit last week about doing a Phrancko with with color work.
Mhm.
I think there was a comment with last week's podcast where I had forgotten what they asked us to discuss. They really asked Frank to discuss further about the color work. But I have been, even though I couldn't knit on my Phrancko, I have been spending a lot of mental energy on trying to figure out the pattern and how I want to incorporate the saddle shoulder and what kind of detail I want around the transition between the arm shoulder seam and this. And I'm like, it's my new dream project in my head. I'm working overtime on that. So
Mhm.
This is for designing your next sweater. Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
because
Yes,
it's already figured out. So
that makes a lot of sense. A lot of people knit one sweater plain to make sure they understand the technique and the
Mhm.
construction. And then you can see how to add color work or cable work or twisted traveling stitches or whatever to it. And that's what all of my sweater patterns are that I publish. They're Phrancko sweaters that I've added something to them.
okay. Well, I was thinking I want to knit this sweater out of, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but Rama fennel. It's a fingering weight
Mm.
yarn. I think it's Norwegian yarn, and I can get the yarn at the Woolly Thistle,
Mhm.
because I have a gift certificate there. Yes.
Of course.
Anyway, but then I thought, well, I can't do a swatch because I don't own the yarn, and I don't want to spend price for shipping a whole bit. So I think I'll just take what is suggested by Rama. Am I saying that right? Rama?
Rauma,
Pardon me?
Rauma, I think.
Okay, Rama.
Yeah.
Rauma.
In Oklahoma.
We know what you mean.
Okay, thank you. So I could I could design the stitch count based on the recommended stitch, right? And get an estimate of yarn, not by the pattern yet, but just because you give out an estimate of how much yarn is needed.
Mhm.
And then I could actually buy the yarn and probably buy an extra skein of each color, I think. And then when I get it, actually do the real swatch and then purchase the pattern based on the actual gauge. So that's my thought process. I think it sounds pretty sound. Didn't know I wanted your guys' comments on that. I mean, how else do you know?
Do you have any fingering weight yarn?
Mhm.
So I would just take some fingering weight yarn, 2 different colors, practice a little bit of 2-color swatching, and then measure how much you used.
And that should be fairly accurate.
It'll be a good estimate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was thinking I would use, I have easy access to Arne and Carlos Norwegian yarn that they've put out through Rowan. And I thought, well, that would could be similar.
Yes, probably, especially if it's 100% wool.
Yes.
And spun woolen too makes a difference, but just use the same size needles. Probably a 3.
Okay, thank you. Anything to shorten the swatch time, right?
Yeah, yeah. But that'll give you a good estimate. And also the other thing that Frank does, and I do too, I did last year. I don't think you ever saw it, Sandra. And maybe I'll wear it next week when it's colder. But I did a colorwork sweater, kind of as a test knit. And I did the yoke in colorwork, but the body was plain.
Okay.
So if you should probably swatch also plain. You probably, if your stitches are different, you may want to go down a half a size for the plain knitting, because it folds up a little bit when you're doing color work. Because you've got 2 strands, the one strand tends to pull the stitches together. The extra float in the back
Pull it together.
pulls it together, so your gauge is a little bit different. So if you go down a size to make tighter stitches on the plain, then it'll look better. But check it first before you do that. That's just something.
See,
So
right?
how would you suggest she check it, or shall I say?
Just do a little swatch in the plain.
Yeah,
With
do
the
a
same
swatch of
size
plain
needle.
and a swatch of color work and compare the gauges.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I thought, well, these are great dreams. You know, I might just get excited and just blast off and start it. But I thought when I actually got the yarn, I would do a sample of the pattern, you know, like a full motif to get one for practice, so my sweater looks better instead of just my sweater being the sample. Let a sample be a sample, right?
Are you designing your own motif?
No, I thought I would, but that just made my head hurt, so I didn't want to.
Well, if you ever get a wild hair,
They're so cool, right?
if
Like
you
what
get
you
a wild hair, you could do it on Stitch Fiddle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty easy on Stitch Fiddle.
It is.
Yes, but I would have to make choices, right? I know.
I heard the funniest thing about people designing sweaters, and like everyone, what are you going to make for Rhinebeck, right?
Oh,
But the one thing in common about a Rhinebeck sweater is none of them are finished.
that's funny.
Yeah.
With the needles hanging off of them.
People make a joke out of it and they wear them with the needles in them. I'm telling you.
The world, yeah, yeah. Instagram world, right?
And how many bins of sweaters do we have, Sumner?
Oh my goodness, I have so many sweaters. I do. I have a lot of sweaters.
Yeah.
I would appreciate a sweater parade.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to have a sweater parade. You know, I guess we could start out, if we're brainstorming, a sweater parade of past Phrancko sweaters, what the yarn was, the year, and if you liked wearing
Well,
them.
what's really funny about my Phranckos is those are the ones that get stolen and they walk out of the house.
We go get them back for the parade.
So I have like 2, and then this is my 3rd, right? In the house.
In the house.
In the house.
Then I'm going to keep my Phrancko sweaters undercover so nobody knows about them.
Yeah.
I'll say if you wear it, you're going to break out in hives.
Put itch powder in it.
Oh.
Well, since we were talking about unfinished work, I might as well show you the things that I created this week in class, because neither of them were finished. Yesterday, the class was on a style of knitting created by some Native Americans in Vancouver called the Coachan tribe, I guess, the Coachan. So they have knitted sweaters that look like this.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Those are Coachan sweaters.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
They all have a very similar construction with lots of different motifs. And so we spent the day knitting a miniature Coachan sweater.
Oh,
Oh, how
wow.
nice.
Of course, I
Cute.
didn't get the sleeves on, but there's the sweater and the
Mhm.
collar. It looks pretty decent.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And so they're just holes for the sleeve. And the thing I found really interesting about that, if you remember what I just said about when I was learning to create a sweater, and JC Bryan said,
Mhm.
you create a sweater that's this shape and then you pick up stitches around here and knit back and forth. That's
Mhm.
exactly how they did their sweaters. So I thought this was a new construction for a set-in sleeve, but it turns out they've been doing it for, I don't know,
Centuries.
100 or
Yeah.
200 years,
Yeah.
who knows how long.
Wow.
Huh.
And so we learned about the history of that tribe and their knitting. They did learn from settlers, and then they sold their sweaters to marketers who ripped them
Yeah.
off and didn't pay them enough. And
Oh,
Yeah.
typical
What a
story.
surprise.
Let's
That's seems the
take
way we
advantage of the
do.
people who don't know any better that we can.
Exactly.
There is a documentary on that on YouTube.
Is that right?
Yes, there
Oh.
is. Kachawan sweaters, I think they call them.
Thank
Oh,
you.
How do you
wow.
spell it?
I
Yeah.
figured I wasn't getting it right.
It's cool.
I won't get this pronunciation right either.
And
Today,
there are men on there that knit with them.
that knit what?
There are men on that YouTube that knit with them.
Yes, she said
Yeah.
the men and the women knit the
Yeah.
sweaters, unlike in our culture.
I like that tribe.
Well, and in like Peruvian knitting, that's mostly men knitting.
Mhm.
Well,
The women are
frankly,
doing
and
the
throughout
spinning and
history, it's been more men knitting than women. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're in the kitchen cooking.
Well, and the women were like making
That's
the
right.
yarn, right?
raising babies.
Yeah.
Women were
Making
spinning the
babies.
yarn.
That's right.
So today we had a class in a style of knitting that's Estonian. Beth was teaching traditional styles, and this style is called well, she wasn't sure how to pronounce it, so I'm not sure how to pronounce it. She said it was like Roosimine or Roosimine or something like that. And it's a color work that is you can't tell from these photos, where you can kind of see it down here in the wrist. The color work is actually stranded across on the outside.
It's on
Oh,
top.
wow.
And
Oh, yeah. They're really popular on Ravelry. If you
wow,
pop that in a Ravelry, you get a ton of
is that right?
hits.
So
Yeah.
I started a wristlet, and that looks like this.
Oh, how nice.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned that there's yarn that works for this technique, and there's yarn that doesn't work as well, which is what I used. Because the color doesn't completely cover. And she said a solution to that would be to use fingering weight yarn for the background, and then sport or DK weight for the color work that just stretches across the background, and then it would
Okay.
fill in better.
Beautiful
The other
stuff.
thing we learned was this twisted cord technique, which was really
Yeah.
interesting. It was slow going, but it creates a lifted, can you see? It's
Yeah.
a lifted
Yes.
Yeah.
cord. It's just attached to each stitch
Wow.
Oh,
as it twists around. And I thought that
almost
was
like a Latvian braid, only one-sided. Oh,
Yeah.
that's neat.
What's the name of that cord? That technique?
well, let's see. She called it
That's a great
twisted cord.
twisted cord.
It's
Twisted cord.
Twisted cord.
The aptly named twisted cord.
She
Joelle,
said
man?
that the Estonians have a really huge variety of special techniques. And he pointed to a 3-volume work, and she says she has all 3 volumes. And let's see. Here's some, the resources. Estonian Knitting, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And so, teaching all these different techniques that they use. They seemingly more than any other culture, they would branch out to different techniques, where many cultures would focus on one technique and develop that to the maximum. So I thought that was interesting as well.
So was it written by one person or
Is
a
what?
bunch of people? Were those books written by one person or several?
Anu Pink, publisher Sara Kirjastus.
I think I'll just look up Estonian
I'm
knitting.
sure I pronounced that perfectly, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, phonetically.
Well,
So I don't really know. I'm sure this one person probably gathered all the techniques together and arranged them into a book.
Yeah, I think so.
So
Probably.
Frank, you're talking about the Roosimine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought somebody was doing something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at
There.
that.
Now, that's a much
Oh,
better
wow.
example of it right there.
Wow.
That is
Lovely.
gorgeous.
Stunning.
It's really simple and fast.
Oh,
Wow.
Colorwork.
That's modest.
So it's sitting by the wayside right now because I'm doing a test knit for the next month. So it's taking a while. But yeah.
That's so interesting, because when I saw what we were doing, I thought I couldn't remember it was you, Sidra. I was thinking it was Judith. But anyway, I knew somebody was doing something very similar, and I'm glad to know that it's actually the same thing
Yeah.
that I was learning. It's a pretty interesting technique.
Mhm.
can I ask a question about the technique, because I've never done it, and so I'm just wondering about how obviously it differs from Fair Isle in that you're stranding on the right side of the work rather than the wrong side of the work. But with Fair Isle, you're knitting stitches with both colors.
You are
And-
not knitting those stitches.
Not knitting it.
That's my
Here's-
question.
Here's the back side.
Uh-huh.
Let me see if I can do this. Here's the back side. First of all, there's 1,000 loose ends.
Oh, my.
Um, I'd love to see what you're doing with yours, Sidra, but let's see if I can get this up there. See,
Oh, wow.
they're just stuck through and then stranded
Okay.
across and then come back through and then go to the next row.
I see. But at
So
no
here it is.
point
I've got
you
it,
knit a
the back
stitch.
side of it.
Let me wait before
Wait a
I
minute.
get you spotlighted.
Yeah, I do. So that's the back side.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Well, that makes-
gorgeous.
That's really nice.
Yes.
So the
It's sort of
strand
like
just gets
embroidery.
caught by the next knit that you're going to do. But
I
you,
see.
so you're knitting across to where you
Mhm.
want. You put the color over it, and you
Yeah.
drape it through, knit how many stitches you need, and then
Yeah.
you bring it
Strand
back.
it to the
back.
back.
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you-
you just
are you
pull the
using-
cord to the front, knit stitches and then
Move
Put-
it to the back.
put it across
Right.
the stitches and move it to the back.
But
So
you
Yeah.
never
simple technique.
you never knit a stitch with the contrasting color.
That's
Correct.
right.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
So real good tutorial online is by Alex Bird, ALEKS BYRD. She's got really good techniques, tutorials.
Did you say BIRD or BYRD?
BYRD.
BYRD. Okay.
And are you using 2 weights of yarn or the same weight for both?
Yeah.
For mine,
Yes,
I
yours.
tried, because the sweater itself is fingering, and I tried doing double strand, and I didn't like it, because that was one of her suggestions. But then I ended up going to, I'm not sure if it's a worsted or if it's a chunky,
Mm.
but yeah.
Yes. So that's why mine didn't work. Besides, it was also a smooth yarn, so there wasn't even any fluff to fill in the gap. So it just
Yeah.
looks like strings strung across the front. It's not
Right.
attractive.
Did
Yeah,
you
they don't
make
usually
bobbins?
use merino.
Sidra, did you make bobbins for that?
Nope. No, there's
No?
no bobbin. It's all
Just carry the
just
whole
carry
ball
it
of
over.
yarn?
And I happen to use just one yarn that changed colors.
Yeah, which is really pretty.
But what she's done on hers is she just carries it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She would do 2 rows of one color and then,
Right.
carry it up for the
Right.
next one.
Right.
Hi, Ron. Welcome.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ron.
Hi.
I wanted to drop in and say hello.
How are rehearsals going?
We're 4 days from opening, so
Oh boy.
Dress.
Oh,
this is the state of the beauty shop.
All right.
Oh, it looks
Yeah.
really good.
Cool.
So once again, that's where I've been. I've managed to knit about 1/4 of a pair of slippers. Again, denial. Carrying them around with me, thinking maybe I'll knit someday.
are you going to felt the slippers?
No, they're knit with about 10% negative ease. They just like little house shoe thingies.
I see. Do you have them with you? Well, if you find them, let us know.
Surely they're around here somewhere. I don't even know where my life is.
You sound like you have a cold.
No, just sawdust.
Oh,
I found this copy of Kathy Rigby and Peter Pan in a wrapped VHS at a thrift store I went to.
Oh, cool.
That was the highlight of my week. Where could I possibly put my bag?
Uh-oh.
Maybe it's in the office.
While he looks, would somebody else like to show us what you're working on?
Oh, here we are. Sorry, false alarm.
Oh, you found it.
There you go.
Boop. So it's a little it starts with the sole
Oh,
in garter stitch, and then you pick up stitches all around. And then there's some short rows for the heel. Now I'm doing short rows for the instep at the toe.
oh,
Cool.
It's just like, here's a little project that I can carry around and actually do nothing with because I forgot that I'm busy and that's why I haven't.
is that a published pattern?
Yes, although I don't have the details at hand at the moment, but once I get back to my knitting life, I'll share them with you the next time we have a meeting.
Okay, great.
Our theater is also an art gallery. We've got our curator putting in a show right now. We're busy people. That's my life.
I'll go next then. So I'm busy trying to make some mittens to go with the hat I finished. So this is where I've got
Oh,
to.
Jenny.
how nice. Look at that, Jenny.
Very
Wow.
You got
nice,
a long
Jenny.
way since Thursday.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been working out the thumb, so I'll take it off so I can show you. So I've got a design that's going up the thumb, so that's the gusset. for the
Oh.
thumb
Oh, look
going
at
there.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
think she's done it before.
coming along. Yeah.
Lovely.
from the crown, right? The thumb
Yes,
gusset
yes. So,
design?
so that's the design on the crown, but upside down, because I
Yeah.
wanted it to run up the thumb
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. So yeah.
She's
Yeah.
too much. You're too much, Jenny. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jenny. You're too much.
The
You win.
Whiz bang.
I just have to hope I can remember what I've done on the first one when I come to do the second one.
Can't put those needles down and so you write it down. No, I'll do it later. I'll do it later.
Yeah. I was scrutinizing it to see what it was when I was doing, but I'm sure it's pretty straightforward. But yeah.
That's fun. Beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Well, how is Mary coming with her squares?
Oh no, not another
Hey,
red one.
look at that.
Oh my gosh.
2 more reds, and then I start on the white.
Right.
So what is
Wow.
that? 28 reds already?
No, 15.
Oh God, love.
You are
That's a
so
lot.
good.
15 reds, 15 whites.
Wow. Good
Very
for you.
dedicated.
Hats off to Mary, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Not really. It's idiot knitting. So
You get the persistence award.
But
Yes.
you're
Yes,
doing it.
indeed.
Good for you.
when it's put together, I'll get them to make a picture and share.
Mm.
Good.
Well, Serena, did you finish your 2 dolls?
Oh yeah, I forgot to bring them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did finish them, and they're just darling.
Oh,
Are you back home,
Me?
Brenna? Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
are.
I've been home.
Okay.
I went to that Prince Edward Island Fiber Festival, but that's been several weeks ago. It feels like a year ago now.
It was good timing.
Yeah, I got back just to Florida just in time for Hurricane Gilbert.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Didn't want to miss that.
No.
Frank,
Might
do you
be
know
in the
where
history.
Do you know where in Spain, Frank, that your Spanish person is from? I'm just thinking of all the
Yes, he's
flood.
from Seville.
Oh.
Oh,
Name is Sergio Navarro, I think.
Yeah. I
Oh,
hope he's
cool.
all right then. For the really
Yeah.
bad flooding in Spain at the moment.
Yeah.
I think
Where
it's
is that?
mostly in Valencia.
Oh,
Yes, I
Yeah.
think yes. So he should be far enough away.
But it has been very bad. A lot of
Yeah.
people have died from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100, I heard.
Yeah.
geez.
Flooding in Spain. Okay.
Well, if he's watching this during the week, I hope he's okay. So
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Mm.
Yes. God bless you, Sergio.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of wildfires last week here in Massachusetts.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
It was so bad that we had to stay in the house, and yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then the helicopters up around my house, flying around, checking to make sure that they got them all.
Mm.
It's been so
Wow.
dry, and the smell of the burned leaves and grass, and yeah, it was crazy. We don't get that in Massachusetts. That's
Yeah.
for all my California friends
Right.
over there.
Right.
Mm.
Our share of it.
Yeah, we never get that.
Yeah.
It's very dry here from where I moved from, and not near with the fire, etc. But I was real pleased in unpacking things. I found where my daughter had sent me a little. It's a mist water thing that you turn on, and it makes a mist into your face for a facial.
Oh, okay.
So I just turned that on and pointed into the front room to get my hair gets such electricity, and it's like all over. It's very dry around here.
Yeah, right.
And it's been pouring rain here, just pouring.
Yep.
Everybody's getting rain but us, Sumner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've even had a little bit here where I live in California.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
So Death Valley's getting rain and Massachusetts is on
Yeah,
fire.
we're
just
drying
everybody,
up
let's
up here.
bring you
Yeah.
guys where Will is
Wrong
from.
with this picture.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's crazy.
But we're not complaining about the weather either at 70 degrees here.
Yeah, too
Oh my
warm.
goodness.
Yeah.
Too warm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get sick. Like it should be snowing already.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Halloween was 73 here the other day.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have sweaters to wear. I need snow.
Yeah.
Will, how is your sweater coming along?
Very well. I started the second sleeve yesterday. I was having some wrist pain, unfortunately, because I was grading midterms and spent way too much time in front of my computer, and so I had to take a little break from knitting, but I'm slowly coming back. And so yesterday I started my second sleeve, and so here I've got
Oh, how nice.
Oh,
Look at that.
nice.
Yeah.
and here's the rest of it as far as
Ooh.
you can see.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
So
nice.
it's
Good
almost
job.
done. I've just got the rest of this sleeve to do, and then the neck, the collar, and then weave in the ends and block it. So I don't know, another week, maybe two, and I hope to be wearing it by then because it's cooled off. So it's sweater weather.
Yeah.
I can wear
Yay!
my sweaters finally.
So are you a teacher?
Yes, I teach English at a community college here
Oh,
in
very good.
Yeah, I love it.
My first English class in my life was a community college
Cool.
teacher.
Yeah.
And so grateful because
Cool.
I couldn't write English.
Yeah.
I'm so intimidated by it. And it's funny, my English teacher was like a French-speaking Madagascan, which was
yeah.
like really crazy, because it was like an online course. But like my high school, they just pushed me through. They didn't know what to do with me, so they like just get him, move him
Get
along.
him out of here.
He's not getting this, move him along.
Yeah.
So they did, and well, I never got English. So
Well, that was my experience too. I hated school, and when I was really little, I loved it. And then starting in middle school, everything went south. And
Yeah.
I dropped out finally, and I got my GED and went back to community college because I didn't want to quit learning, and so that made a huge difference in my life. And so I'm really glad that I'm able to do it for a job now.
yeah, it's literally
Yeah,
why
that's
I can work.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's why I can work now and like type. Like
Yeah.
I would have never like that is yeoman's work, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Yes. Thank you.
Would you mind?
Cindy, I want to know what you're working on.
Oh, I am doing. I was still feeling overwhelmed about level 3. And so it's been in timeout for about a week and a half now. And so I knitted the hat behind me there that I had for like 4 years. And then now what I'm doing is I'm knitting a ranunculus. I've never done one.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm knitting a ranunculus sweater.
Oh,
And
fun. Good for you.
it's just, I got to put it on bigger needles, but it's soft. It's relaxing. It's easy. There's no pressure. And I just decided I needed a little bit of that for right now. I'm doing it with Anzula Dreamy, which was one of the yarns that Ron had recommended ages ago. I did a pair of fingerless nets for my aunt with it. And then I had 2 skeins of that. And then I've got some other, and it's a merino cashmere silk blend. And then I have, I'm doing it with the Cumulus by Fiber Space, which is alpaca and silk. And so it's soft and it feels really good, but it doesn't have that fuzz like mohair. It doesn't fuzz off like Angora either. So I'm just enjoying it and taking it easy.
Very good for you.
Good to do.
way it should be. I always love your projects because your little choices on yarn are always gorgeous. Not that everyone else's aren't, but I really covet yours. It looks so soft and cuddly when you pick your
Well, and
yarns.
it is, and these are ones that I've had these 3 little skeins of the Cumulus for years, and it was from our local yarn shop that had them. And so when I got it, it was just like, oh, it's just so squishy and soft.
Oh yeah,
Upside down. There we go. But it's really, really light, and I like that feel and fluff and halo like a mohair, but I don't like mohair against my skin. And so for this, it's totally soft, and it doesn't bother me at all. It really is good, and yet it gives that lightness and that look.
Wonderful.
So I'm just right now doing. I can kind of hold it up a little, hold it up the right way, and you can see I'm doing the little lace portion.
Right.
Oh,
Very
all right.
nice. Very nice.
Wow.
So anyway, it's the pattern is really long, and at first I thought it was kind of going to be overwhelming, but it's not. It's like every single round is numbered. You just do this, you just do that, and I check it off. And I like to check things off and get little stars. You know, that's me.
That's fun.
So it's been good, and it's not so hard that I can't do it like when I Zoom or if I'm watching a show or talk. When Jerry comes in and interrupts me, you know, and he'll talk, and I'm like, okay, I can't count higher than 6 here on this row, so I'm okay. I can still talk to him.
How is your daughter still working on her scarf?
She is. We were over there last night, and she's doing really good with it, and she's very excited about it. And so I was really thrilled because I've encouraged the kids to knit, and I've got one that knits and one that spins, one of the grandkids that knits and spins, but the others are kind of like, I don't know. But then she wanted to, and so she's got it, and I think she did 8 dishcloths first. She did them over several weeks, and then decided she wanted a harder project, and that's when she did she started the scarf. So
and next she's going to do a Phrancko sweater.
I think she is, because she really wants to do a sweater. I said, well, let's just practice it, because this little scarf, it just has a little bit of it's knitting. You knit through the back loop for one thing, and you purl, and so it's like it's a very simple just one row pattern, but the way that it lines up, it has a little more interest. It's not just ribbing. And she already knows how to do knit 2 together and yarn overs from doing the dishcloths. So I think she's about ready for a Phrancko.
Be cool to be the first sweater that she does.
Yeah,
she'll
that would be.
by the time
I think a Phrancko is a very, very good first sweater. It's very, very approachable. If you just do each little skill, it's not really a huge number of things or anything that's super hard.
And there's no
there's
I
no
think it's more
seaming.
difficult to make a sock.
Right.
Honestly.
I think it's a lot more difficult to make a sock. But the other piece with the Phrancko that, I mean, sold me from the very beginning is that I use my yarn. So it's like you can just go in and choose which ones you want. And it's like, oh, I want this color and I want this weight. You're not trying to find a pattern that works with that yarn. You're not trying to find a needle that works with that pattern or whatever. And then you just do your swatch with your needles, your yarn, your exact measurements. And with the Phrancko, it's going to fit.
And don't forget your own gauge too.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You get your own gauge. You're not trying to, they say I have to have a 5.5 stitches per inch and I'm at 6, or I'm at 5, or I'm at 5 3/4, or whatever it is. Or my row gauge doesn't match. How is this going to work? With
the most frustrating thing to me when I was trying to do that matching other gauge was when I got the row gauge, I'm sorry, when I got the stitch gauge to match.
You
And
didn't
then
get the
the
row gauge.
was 1 or 2 stitches off. 1 or 2
Yeah.
stitches off. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you do then? You correct one, the
Well,
other goes off.
And it can
And it
matter.
is.
Like
It does. It matters on how stuff's going to fit and where your decreases are going to be, and how your neck's going to be shaped.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like, yes, I have the skills now to do the math if I have to do it. I would rather not, but I can. But for somebody beginning, or just, it's like, I just want a sweater that fits with this cool yarn that I saw at the store. It's like, yeah, do a Phrancko. And so, and she loves the 2 Phrankkos that I've done for her. So I can't believe that she'll make any other sweater.
now with you around, shame on her.
But the workhorse sweater, which was that first one that I did for her, she's like, I've never had a sweater that fit me this well, because she's got a long body. She's kind of got wide shoulders. She does all the horse stuff and the horse chores and stuff. So, I mean, she's got muscles and she's got really long arms. And normally things are kind of like, oh, it fits like here, my long sleeves. It doesn't go all the way. And when I go to reach, it doesn't go long enough in the body. And it's like, with doing the Phrancko, it's like, no, it exactly fits.
Yeah,
I love hearing
So-
that. I'm so glad
So it
that
is. It's so
I was
fun.
able to do
So
that.
fun.
Yes.
Well, it looks like we have run over our time by about 3 minutes, so I think it's time to say goodbye for another week. Thank you for visiting again, Arthur.
Thank you. It's my
Yes.
pleasure. I appreciate getting to learn. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Well, come and join us anytime. I hope you will.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
next time, don't talk so much, Arthur.
Yes.
Joe Ellen,
Bye.
you take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay.
Everybody.
Bye-bye. Take it
See
easy.
ya.
Yeah.